The Chicago Bears just got extremely positive news despite that tough loss to the 49ers. Let's talk about it. My name's Paul. Together with my buddies, we're the NFC North Guys. Tune in every day for all the latest NFC North news, gossip, analysis, whatever you want. We got it right here, so like and subscribe. Look, last night was tough. As a Bears fan, we've seen them pull that game out so many times this year. But I do think there are still a lot of positive takeaways. I got some injury updates for you, some excuses. You know, as a Bears fan, we always got excuses for things. But then I'm also bringing out my buddy Nate. He covers the 49ers. He watched that game from a 49ers fan perspective. He hasn't gotten to see a full game of Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson in a while. So he has some interesting thoughts for us as well that I think will make you feel very positive about the Bears. So stick around for that at the end. But first thing I want to talk about is Luther Burden, monster game, over 125 yards and a touchdown. But then after the game, we see him leave on a cart. And that terrified me because he and Loveland have been coming on so strong. The offense has looked so great with them. So to see him leave on a cart had me holding my breath. But it sounds like it's nothing serious. They're calling it a quad injury. But when he asked about it, he just said, I gave it my all out there, bro. I was tired. So it sounds like, maybe he was just cramping, maybe a little sore, just wanted to go for a little cart ride. Doesn't sound like anything that's going to hold him out long term, and that's huge because he has been an absolute monster. You can just see the talent in him, and a lot of people were talking about the Niners offense is looking so great even without George Kittle, even with Trent Williams going down. And don't get me wrong, they were super impressive. You got to tip the cap to them, but there wasn't as much talk about the fact that Rome Odunze wasn't out there. And yeah, DJ Moore and Darnell Wright were out there, but they were not themselves. DJ Moore has been playing a lot better lately. He only had one catch for 7 yards. Clearly, he was affected by the flu. Darnell Wright, they both played admirably, but if you've had the flu before, the thought of playing an entire NFL game getting hit by 300-pound men for 3 hours it's insane to think that they were even out there. So there's no way they were 100%, and the offense still performed like this. And the defense, not great, not what you want. But I think, it sounds like Kyler Gordon has a chance to be back for the playoffs, especially if they win a game. I think we will see him again. And he's just such a good tackler at the line of scrimmage. You can really see that this defense misses him. And then, I never want to be that guy who blames the refs. The Bears had chances to win. They lost on their own accord. But I did think this call on C.J. Gardner-Johnson was awful. He actually went on Twitter, called it a BS call. Before I show you a quick clip of the play, I do want to show you. So if you didn't watch the game, he gets called for illegal use of hands to the face, and then he intercepts a pass in the end zone. Huge stop for the Bears, one of the only stops of the game by either team. The NFL rulebook defines illegal use of hands as forcible contact in a direct or prolonged manner. So generally when you see this called in the NFL, it's a lot of times on linemen, and you see that head just get shoved back brutally for several seconds, and that's when it's generally called. Right here, just a quick snippet of it. It's just a quick pop to the face because Ricky Pearsall kind of crouched down a little bit. The hand slipped. There was nothing forcible about that. There was nothing prolonged about that. I get Ricky Pearsall, gunshot victim. We got to protect him. He's been through it. But that was a very weak call and took away a huge turnover in that game. Who knows what happens if it's not called. But like I said, I'm not blaming the game on the refs. The Bears, they had their chances to win, but that was certainly a frustrating call. But I think the big thing we got to take away is we're watching this game the Bears are in their Super Bowl window now. And truthfully, I think they are in their Super Bowl window. But this is year 2 of Caleb Williams. This is his year 1 in the Ben Johnson offense. Luther Burden and Colston Loveland are rookies just starting to figure things out. Rome has been injured. The defense we've had like no secondary or linebacking core like the entire year. It's been all backups. Like there's still a lot, like the Bears have plenty of draft capital to get better on both sides of the ball. I think Swift and Monangai are a great 1-2, but it still wouldn't surprise me if the Bears go and get like their version of Jahmyr Gibbs. Like this offense is already elite, and they've like just barely scratched the surface of what they're going to become. And like looking at Caleb Williams, this is his year 2. I would love to see him throw for that 270, become the Bears' first 4,000-yard passer. But like regardless, this is probably the best passing season in Bears history. And I think it's really interesting when you compare it to Josh Allen year 2. Like he had that same completion percentage issue, below 60%, far less yardage, less touchdowns, turned the ball over a little more. Like Caleb Williams year 2 right now is significantly better than Josh Allen's year 2. And then in year 3, Josh Allen comes out and he is an MVP candidate. And I really think we're going to get that from Caleb Williams. And like I said, this team is barely scratching the surface of what they're going to be able to do. And let me pull up my buddy Nate here. He's going to talk a little bit about what he saw in the game. I'll let you listen to that.
And all the credit in the world for it's 12 degrees outside. I'm doing this one for you, Bears fans. As a 49ers fan, I got to tell you guys, I was very, very, very impressed by Ben Johnson, by Caleb Williams, by Luther Burden, who was my draft crush, and I desperately wanted Kyle Shanahan to draft that guy, just imagining what he could do with him. My goodness, that was an incredible game. And you got to give Ben Johnson all the credit in the world for his no guts, no glory plays, like the hook and ladder there at the end of the game, knowing he's going to have to spike the ball. And if he doesn't get a touchdown, it doesn't get out of bounds, it's going to come down to one final play. Unbelievable. Do not dog Caleb Williams for not seeing DJ Moore on the backside as he's rolling out left. You guys, that was an incredible game. Genuinely, don't listen to Chris Collinsworth, man. You guys know. Don't listen to him on some of these passes that are easy passes that Chris Collinsworth thinks that Caleb Williams should have made. I'll give him one of those he should have made, but my goodness, dude. The pressure that this young and inexperienced defensive line was able to get on Caleb Williams in a couple moments there, and Chris Collinsworth is calling Caleb Williams out and saying he should have made that pass. Come on, dude. That was an unbelievable game. I want to give Ben Johnson some massive credit for two things that I noticed during the game that I'm not sure everybody saw that. If you're not a Niners fan, you don't know these guys because Tatum Bethune's a backup to a backup. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about two moments where where Ben Johnson schemes up a beautiful opportunity for Caleb Williams to hit a downfield 40 air yard pass in the end zone. And you see that Colson Loveland is wide open, basically. He's wide open on his cut, right? And everybody in the world probably thinks that dude standing right next to him is a safety, because that's what it looks like when you look, from the sky looking down. But that's a linebacker, man. Same thing happened on an out route about 20 yards, 30 yards out to, I think it was also Colson Loveland, and it was up against Luke Gifford, who is like a special teamer and doesn't even belong as a linebacker on the field. Ben Johnson schemed things up to set up Caleb Williams with opportunities in mismatches where you've got a solid player, solid pass catcher going up against a linebacker in coverage. So I want to give some massive credit to this team. I know that that's a heartbreaker of a loss, but you know what? I had to go live after that game, and I was prepared to go live, win or lose, with 4 seconds left in the game. Caleb Williams in the pocket there, and I just hit it. And I was like, we're going to see what's going to happen here. And the bottom line was that was a win for both teams, despite the L for the Bears, in the sense that both teams showed you they can toe-to-toe with anybody in the playoffs. This game, it was played on an absolute knife's edge. And I think if I'm a Bears fan, which I'm not, but if I was a Bears fan, I'd be walking out of that game saying that was an unbelievable game. That was a crazy game. One of those games where one turnover could swing the whole game either way. And you got to give this team some massive credit. Shout out to an incredible team that had to do it without some of their players, that had to do it with a banged up team throughout this season. Both teams have seen a lot of injuries, and massive credit to you, Bears fans. Don't feel too down about that loss.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Nate, for hopping on for us real quick. But I loved what he said about like the way Ben Johnson draws up plays for Caleb Williams, because I think like you saw it in Detroit. He drew up so many good plays for the Lions, but he didn't, like Jared Goff, he needs everything to be working for him to be like a good quarterback. Caleb can make the throws, rolling out, getting out of trouble, like he can do anything. And when you combine Ben Johnson's ability to scheme up easy plays for his quarterback and Caleb Williams' ability to make any throw on the field, escape trouble, pull his voodoo magic that results in big-time gains, like it's going to be a juggernaut in the NFL for years to come. So, like, it was a tough loss, but we got to feel positive, Bears fans. There's so many good things going for us. This team's so young. Like I talked about Luther Burden and Colson Loveland as rookies. I didn't talk about we're starting a rookie left tackle, and like I said, Darnell Wright on the other side was battling with the flu. I think we got a little more pressure in that game than we probably should have because of that. But regardless, like this team is going to be good for years, and I still think they can compete this year. Like they just went toe-to-toe, as Nate said, with one of the best teams in the league on the road. Like they're going to start with a home playoff game. Depending on how things shake out, they could get another home playoff game after that. We'll see what happens. But regardless, I'm still super hyped, super positive as a Bears fan. We got Lions coming up next week. Hope we get to see Caleb hit that 4,000-yard mark. And I hope we get some revenge and put a whooping on the Lions. I know it would everyone will talk it down, but I know Ben Johnson would love to do that. So we'll see what happens. You guys, give me your comments and any thoughts you have on this video, and then don't forget, just like and subscribe on the way out.